Warning. This program may contain material of an explicit or graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Broadcasting undead from the B Ward, this is the Post-Mortem Show, Sweating Your Balls Off edition. I'm Dom.
And I'm JD. And yes, it is hot.
It's
here
hot
in
as
the B-Ward.
fuck here right now.
Yes. Over 100 degrees, I would say. In this room.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here fucking glistening with sweat.
Yes.
Glistening.
And so, this week, suggested by a new listener, Heath, who's been binging the show, starting at episode 1. And
You poor man.
we will be reading his list at the end of our top 5. So he won't hear this for quite a while.
And he'll be completely insane by the time he does.
Yes. And if you have a suggestion for a top 5, send us an email at postmortemshow@gmail.com.
This is episode 125, so
Yeah.
that's, and each one averages maybe an hour between, longer and shorter.
Yeah.
So that's a fucking 125 hours worth of post-mortem for good old Heath to listen to.
Yeah.
Which
He's gonna
calculates
listen
out...
to this probably when I tell him that we did it. He's gonna listen to this episode.
Calculates out to 5.20 days of post-mortem for Heath to listen to.
If you listen to it straight like that,
Yeah.
you would never be the same. Just in a room with nothing but you and, like, let's say one of those little Bluetooth speakers,
Yeah.
and you couldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
It was just us, and it was just 1 to 125, baby.
By day 4, you're just beating off and crying.
Who's Biff? So yeah, top 5 Asian horror movies. But before we get to that, we got a little bit of horror news for you. Horror news. So, I'll start us off because my first horror news was also sent over to us by listener Heath,
Okay.
who suggested our top 5. He sent it to me because it involves the first horror movie I ever remember seeing as a kid. Scream Factory has joined forces with NECA for a limited edition Blu-ray offering of Night of the Demons that includes an exclusive action figure of the main character Angela, which is only being made available in the set.
Wow.
Night of the Demons is being re-released by newly designed Blu-ray steelbook packaging with a new 4K film transfer. If you order it directly from the Scream Factory website, it comes with an exclusive lithograph plus an officially licensed posable Angela doll. Deluxe offers limited to 2,000 orders only in the U.S. and Canada, and you get the steelbook, you get a lithograph of the new slipcase art by Laz Marquez, and you get an 8-inch tall Angela doll created by NECA that's only available through this. It releases October 23rd.
Nice.
Couldn't find a price as of yet.
Yeah. I really like Scream Factory. Like, I love what they're doing conceptually. But if they're going to do something with an Angela action figure, they need to do a sleepaway camp with a fully posable Angela action figure.
The reveal.
And remember those Ghostbusters action figures where you would like push the button on the back and like their eyes would pop out or something, like they were scared? you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Angela action figure with removable penis.
Yeah. Angela action figure with kung fu grip and action.
You pull the back of the little string and it's all That would be awesome. I would definitely pre-order that one.
Well, I'm talking about getting a 3D printer. So maybe we could make some unlicensed Angela Dick action figures. So I'm going to preface my horror news by saying all of my horror news is good horror news.
Wow.
I'm having a positive day today.
Good.
So I'm going to kick it off by saying Netflix has announced that season 2 of Warren Ellis's damn near perfect Castlevania anime is in production right now with an October 28, 2018 release date.
So what's the first?
Yeah. The season will double its run with 8 episodes and will bring back the entire production team from the first season. My only complaint about the first season of the animated Castlevania on Netflix was that it was too fucking short. 4 episodes.
Was it good?
It was.
We've never talked about this.
Yeah, I did. I reviewed it. I think it's my good movie.
Okay.
At some point. It's so good. Like, it doesn't even feel like you're watching an anime. It feels like you're watching this... And Warren Ellis, he, like, wrote Transmetropolitan and a bunch of awesome comic books. Like, he's a great writer. So the fact that he tackled Castlevania and, like, kind of put an original spin on the Dracula origin story and making it all, like, the church's fault and all that shit, it was really fucking cool.
Is it really hard to watch? Like, it was really hard to play, some of them?
Yeah.
It's very hard to get through an episode. You have to sit there and keep watching it over and over from the beginning.
They didn't even really introduce... They kind of introduced Simon Belmont in the first season. The first season was more about Dracula becoming Dracula, but it would be great if there was, like, an entire episode of just Simon Belmont falling down the same pit.
Yeah, and what if fucking Netflix was, like, regular Nintendo and you couldn't save, like, where you were in episodes? So you would have to start everything at the beginning.
Right.
Some of it was really hard and impossible to finish.
I've got that fucking Castlevania music in my brain from level 1 because you always had to fucking go back to that.
God help you if you ever try to play The Lion King. Or Beetlejuice. That game is way too hard.
Yeah.
Anyways. You were saying?
That's it?
Oh, that's it. Okay. So, I have some real-life horror news that involves a horror actress and a real-life kidnapping and torture. So, actress Daisy McCracken, known for her role as Donna in Halloween Resurrection, endured her own real-life horror movie scenario after being kidnapped along with actor Joseph Capone. Sounds like it could be a plot to a new film, but no, this is real. An indictment filed on June 18th tells the tale of torture, extortion, and true horror that took place back in 2017. The crime unfolded after the 3 kidnappers successfully stole her car, invaded her home in L.A. on May 3rd. Once inside, they pistol-whipped Capone. Investigators working on the scene reported a trail of Capone's blood at the home, according to NBC News. The 3 attackers proceeded to place black hoods over the heads of both McCracken and Capone, and on May 4th, relocated Capone to one of the kidnappers' homes in Compton. From there, they stripped him of his clothes, threw him in a bathtub for 30 hours without food, and subjected him to torture. The allegation notes that Capone's tongue was disabled by a cut, an eye was gouged, and his ear, nose, and lip were also cut. There's also believed to have been a point where Capone tried to help McCracken and was beat, punched, and kicked as punishment, according to the BBC.
Jesus Christ.
According to Oxygen, an indictment statement, one of the perpetrators did unlawfully and maliciously deprive Joseph Capone of a member of the body and did disable, disfigure, and render it useless. Whatever that means.
That is the crime of mayhem.
Yes. That's kind of someone's dick off, I think, is what they're referring to. Disable a member of the body and...
Well, a member is any limb. Like, they could have broken his arm or leg. Or his tongue. If they disable his tongue by cutting it, that's considered a member under legal standards.
Well, this is almost like Sequestrados, which you still haven't watched, have you?
No, I watched it.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Okay, great. I can't remember things, Tom.
It was a watch this fucker.
It was.
Yeah.
So, while this was happening to Capone, McCracken was being driven around from bank to bank. Attackers hoped to extort money from her bank accounts. At one point, she did withdraw $100 and gave it to her captives. Eventually, they forced her to write a $10,000 check for Capone's release. They also forged a fake registration document for her Lexus and had her sign the car over to them. Once the bank trips were finished, the kidnappers, along with McCracken, returned to her home in L.A. Somehow, she was able to flee from her captors and notify the police. So, the offenders got caught. They received 17 felony accounts, according to USA Today, include kidnapping, assault with a firearm, grand theft, mayhem, conspiracy, and attempt to sell methamphetamine.
Just on top of it.
All 3 are facing life in prison. Pre-trial hearing is set for July 23rd. That's some fucking crazy shit for an actor.
That's straight up horror movie shit. Yeah, it is.
That's what happens. They go to the ATM. Remember that part?
Yeah.
And the two camera scenes.
And they
it's
drive him around.
Life.
Wow.
With a Halloween Resurrection actress. So terrible movie, but I wouldn't wish that upon her.
No, and really, I mean, it's a shitty situation, but that's the best possible outcome for it. Is that they got caught.
Yeah.
And, are gonna fucking. I hope they face life in prison, motherfuckers. So now I have some excellent news that some people might think is bad news, but they're wrong. Fox has pulled the plug on Ridley Scott's Alien franchise after Alien Covenant's lackluster performance. Alien Awakening has been placed in development hell indefinitely where it probably belongs. Fox Searchlight is currently considering a web-based series set in the Alien universe that does not focus directly on the plots of the core Alien films. Ridley Scott will not be involved. They are instead asking for fans to submit Alien-based short films in an effort to add a fresh mind to the franchise.
Well, that's cool.
Neil Blomkamp, You know, he's been wanting to do it forever.
Alien short films, huh? From fans?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so they're going to do that, and they're talking about...
I thought that Disney bought them and stuff. That's crazy.
That didn't actually go through.
Oh, okay.
It's still in talks, but it hasn't gone through yet. But yeah, I guess they finally realized that Ridley Scott lost his shit.
Keep the fucking ears off the xenomorph is all I gotta say. Keep the fucking mouse ears off the xenomorph. So, I have some unfortunate real-life horror news as well. The second one. So, Fayetteville woman is under arrest after authorities say she shot and killed a man she met on FarmersOnly.com. The shooting happened in 2015, but the woman turned herself in on Monday. Authorities responded to a home in Sangee Lane on June 10, 2015. The 911 caller said 57-year-old Sherry Jones shot Clarence Smith. When deputies arrived, they found Smith lying in the front yard motionless. Jones said she shot Smith in self-defense. She said she called Smith to come to her house to pick up his belongings. Further investigation revealed Jones met Smith on FarmersOnly.com. They had started dating a couple months prior to the shooting. Authorities said the two were not getting along and were separating when the shooting happened. Jones turned herself in Monday at the Cumberland County Detention Center. She's charged with first-degree murder. Our rating system today, it has to be Dead Lonely Farmers.
Okay.
Lonely Dead Farmers?
I like Lonely Dead Farmers.
Lonely Dead Farmers.
Yeah, I know that in your darker single days, you spent some time on Plenty of Fish and all that. Did you ever go to Farmers Only?
Never Farmers Only.
Yeah.
No. BiffsOnly.com.
And it's just Biff.
Yeah. It's just me and Biff. We just message each other.
Nice. So I'm going to wrap this up with some heartwarming news. Back in 2001, the Scottish Natural Heritage Group, a group funded by the Scottish government, created a series of guidelines in the event that the Loch Ness Monster is discovered, according to BBC. The plan is resurfaced in part because of an international team of scientists who combed the murky Loch Ness last month for environmental DNA to confirm which species call the lake home. Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon told Good Morning Britain last month that she believed Nessie was real, according to The Sun. Animal lovers will be happy to know that Nessie's welfare is of paramount importance. The plan stipulates that if the creature was discovered and captured, a DNA sample would be taken and it would be released back into the lake.
Wow.
Scotland's looking out for the Loch Ness Monster.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it
catch and release.
Catch and release policy. I don't even think catch. Just
let it go. Yeah.
Let Loch Ness Monster be. Okay.
Yeah. Leave Nessie alone.
Leave Nessie alone. Keep your fucking dirty nets off of him. Or her. I guess Nessie's a her. I guess everyone.
I've never seen its genitals, so.
Cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah.
I'll ask Biff.
He knows.
He's as wise as he is strange. So that's it for horror news. We will be back with Nostalgia Killers this week.
Haven't done that in a while.
Haven't done it in quite a while. And then our top 5 Asian horror movies after this. Up right now on the Postmortem Show Patreon, we have Creepy Pastas.
Hey, it's a creepy pasta. That's a spicy horror meatball. We have Postmortem Off Topic. Off Topic!
As well as Strogs Docs. Strogs Docs. We've been sending out stickers to all of our patrons, as well as handwritten letters. Letters of love, listener shoutouts.
And if you go check out our music section, you can hear music from Weapon A, Grave Command, Public Defecation, Old Scratch and the Necrophonic Orchestra, and Mechanical Ghost.
As well as the Best of JD Horror Deathmatch Series Volume 1 DVD video download. There will be more! We have shirts coming for our $50 patrons, as well as you patrons that are below the $50 level. We will be giving discounts on the shirts to sell on the website as well. So, more stuff coming, new off-topics, new creepypastas, a lot more on Postmortem Show Patreon.
Thank you if you're a patron, and if you're not a patron, why the fuck not?
Just give us 1 month.
1 month.
You won't be sorry.
It'll change your life.
And you get the episodes early. Forgot to say that.
Yeah.
You get the episodes early every week. We're going to do this commercial every week and kind of update it, so...
Until all of you are patrons.
Until all
so
of you are
patrons. So if you're sick of it, do your part in making us not have this commercial anymore.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Nostalgia killers.
Okay, we're back with Nostalgia Killers. And this week, we're going to start it off with a 1984, directed by Douglas Cheek, starring John Hurd, Daniel Stern, and Christopher Curry, C.H.U.D. C.H.U.D.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Beneath the city of New York are living catacombs, an endless maze of subterranean tunnels, unfit for anything human, unauthorized for anything experimental,
Hold it! There's something moving up ahead in the tunnel!
and unlikely to bring anyone down there. So, they're coming up. C.H.U.D. C.H.U.D. Check your basement and your bathroom. Keep off the street and try to hide. But remember, the dark is their place. The night is their time. And tomorrow, the only things living in the city of New York will be C.H.U.D. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers. C.H.U.D. They're not staying down there anymore.
A rash of bizarre murders in New York City seems to point to a group of grotesquely deformed vagrants living in the sewers. A courageous policeman, a photojournalist and his girlfriend, a nutty bum who seems to know a lot about these creatures, band together to try to determine what the creatures are and how to stop them. There's things in the sewer, Dom.
And they're eating people.
So I didn't remember much about this movie other than the box art, and I remembered the creatures.
I don't think that I'd ever seen it outside of USA Up All Night. Like, I don't think I'd ever seen an unedited version.
Well, we're gonna do what we do in Nostalgia Killers and break down each category. But before we do that, I'm just gonna say that you weren't really missing much.
Yeah?
You weren't really missing much, in my opinion. So, acting and characters. What do you have to say about acting and characters? Or do you want to say anything else about the movie before we break it down?
The one thing I want to preface this with is, like, C.H.U.D. came out of a time where, like...
Everything was radioactive?
Everything was radioactive, and everything was, like... New York was a fucking cesspool, like, in the real world at the time. And so, like, you know, and homeless people, you know, because, like, we had movies like Street Trash and, you know, all that, where homeless people were, you know, they were victims, but they were victims that became, like, monsters. And it really comes out of a time that I don't know that we'll ever see again, or that I hope we never really see again. You know, I mean, if Donald Trump has his way, maybe he'll make things that way. Fucking crazy-ass libertarian, fucking unprincipled paradise. But, yeah, you know, when I watched C.H.U.D., I kind of put it in the context of that time period, and I think that really kind of, you know, got me in my mindset for it.
I watched it after barbecuing with a couple beers, projecting it onto my shed with a bonfire.
Nice.
White Trash Movie Shed. I'm going to create a Facebook stream for the White Trash Movie Shed.
Yeah.
We're going to comment. We're going to do some commentary on these old movies, so stay tuned for that, you guys. But, yeah, I enjoyed myself, but I didn't enjoy this as much as I remember it.
Really?
Yeah. So, acting and characters... To me, the best part is Daniel Stern.
Yeah.
And if that's the best thing going for a movie, there's trouble. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5, Dom.
You know, I didn't think any of the acting was particularly bad. You know, Daniel Stern was definitely the highlight of it, but there were no performances that, like, stood out as, like, oh, wow, that person's, like, a really, really shitty actor.
Well, not just that, but the characters weren't... The character definition wasn't that great. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
I didn't care about anyone.
Yeah. So, yeah, Daniel Stern was definitely... His character was definitely the most fleshed out. So I'm going to go right down the middle and give it a 2.5.
Okay. Story and writing. So, here's the problem with this for me. The plot is super convoluted, and there just aren't enough kills in this movie. There's not enough going on. There's not enough going on in this movie. That was the worst part. I rated that the lowest out of everything that I'm going to rate for this movie. Give it a 1.5 out of 5.
I liked the story, and I think that the story was relevant, and I think that the director and the writer had more of like a political agenda when they made the movie. Like they had something they were trying to say as opposed to trying to make it like a pure horror movie, because it really, like, it doesn't really get to the meat of the movie until the final act.
But you're talking about, like, just think about the premise of the story. It's nuclear deformed cannibals that live in the sewer that a policeman, a journalist, and a fucking bum who knows everything about these creatures have to find out something. That's super convoluted.
And there was a whole thing with like the EPA cover up.
Yeah,
and,
and
like,
the government thing. There's just so much going on. Too much.
I think that what happened was the writer wanted to make a serious movie, and everyone else who made the movie wanted to make a schlocky movie, and something got lost in the mix there. So the story could have been better than it was if they had really just picked a tone and went with it. But I'm going to give it, again, I'm going to give it 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. Special effects and production. So, most of the kills happen off camera or we see some aftermath. It takes way too long to get to the C.H.U.Ds, who are ridiculous looking, but in a good way, but not much happens. That being said, at least it's not CGI. Yeah. So, I give it a 2.
I love the special effects in this movie. Like, the C.H.U.Ds are silly looking, but it's in an endearing sort of way. And they did what we always say people should do, is if you can't show it, put it off camera. But on the occasions that there were special effects that you saw, I thought they were good. Like, they were good for what they were. There just wasn't a lot of them, but for what they were, I liked it. And I actually gave that a 4.
There's a sequel, right?
Bud the C.H.U.D.
Maybe I remember the sequel. Is the sequel better?
The sequel's funnier. They picked a tone and went with it.
Okay.
And it's definitely more ridiculous.
Maybe I gotta check that out, because maybe I never saw part 1 when I was a kid, because I remembered it being way better than this. You know, that's one thing. So, entertainment. Okay, so I'll say this movie's stupid, but it had great VHS box art and a great title, and maybe that's why I think we remember it a little bit more fondly than we should. But if you saw this crap come out now, it just wouldn't cut the mustard, brother. It wouldn't. It was more boring than I remember. There's too much. It was too long with not enough, like, action for me. You know, too much plot development in directions that didn't even make any sense.
Right. I was never bored watching it. And there were parts of it that they went through that I don't remember, which I think, you know, may have been because I only saw an edited for TV version. And I think I do remember the entertainment value a little bit more fondly because there's like a mystique surrounding it. But that said, I was entertained the whole time, and it did enjoy myself watching it. And I actually am going to give that a 4.
Okay. So IMDb gives it a 5.6. The average of my score is 2 out of 5 or 4 out of 10. So I'm going to have to vote, or 4 out of 10, what did I say? What was that rating system?
Lonely Dead Farmers.
4 out of 10 Lonely Dead Farmers. And so the premise of the Nostalgia Killers, we watch these movies from our youth. We have to vote to keep them or to kill them. So I think what I want to do is kill C.H.U.D, but keep the poster. Keep the box on the shelf, but just break the tape.
Right. Gotcha.
And I think that this movie could actually benefit from a remake, because it's got the mystique of the name, and we all remember that VHS box art, but the movie itself isn't so good. You could remake it, and it could be better.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is one of those movies that wouldn't be like remaking an iconic horror movie everyone loves and fucking it up.
Right.
This movie isn't that good, but everyone kind of has a nostalgia for it. So there might be a market for it, and you could do way better.
Yeah, for sure.
You could do way better.
Yeah, put it in the hands of a capable director. My average was 3.25, so if you double that for the out of 10 factor, it's 6.5 for me. So that's like above average.
Yeah.
In terms of what it was. 6.5 out of 10 Lonely Dead Farmers. I'm going to say that
that's a keep, right? 5 is the marker.
Yeah, it's a keep, but I'm going to go with what you said, and this is a movie that could benefit from a competent remake.
And this goes to show, too, like, when we talked about, a long time ago, I don't know what episode it was, but we did our top 5 VHS box arts, and there's movies that are terrible, but that box art in your local video store in the horror section, It's part of your childhood.
That would actually be a good list, top 5 movies that didn't live up to the box art.
Yeah, that is good. You know what, I bet if we listen back to that episode, half of those would be like that.
Right, yeah.
Because it's about the art.
Yeah.
Know?
Yeah, they really knew how to sell a movie. You know?
They really did, and it was just, it meant more. Now I see the posters of today's movies, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think
besides movies like Song of Solomon, have you seen that poster that they have, the old black and white style, like heavyweight boxing style? Ticket. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, every once in a while, like Neon Demon actually had great box art. Beyond the Black Rainbow had great box art. You know.
Yeah.
But there's a Deathgasm had great box art. Dude Bro Party Massacre has great box art. It just hit Shudder, and the box art's fantastic. But like. There's this give and take thing with, like back in the 80s and 70s, in order to get a horror movie out, you had to go through a studio and a distributor. So like they would put, they had to make the investment to get it out there. So they would have to put the money into the artwork to really sell it.
Yeah.
Now, like, it's good with the advent of digital media that like anyone can make a movie, like, because there are a lot of talented people who are going to make weird ass shit that wouldn't normally get funding, like Lucifer Valentine, or Stephen Biro. Like, his movies would not get funding by a major Hollywood studio, but they're excellent. But the trade-off is also any fucking douchebag out there with a camera and Photoshop can make a fucking generic ass horror movie with a generic ass piece of box art.
Yeah, I don't know why like Amazon Prime or even like a network like Shudder doesn't want to get some more development of those extreme movies, just because there's an audience for it.
Right.
Like a network like Shudder, if they had Unearthed films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if you could pay for an extra whatever to add Unearthed to Shudder or something like that, like you could pay Amazon to add Shudder to Amazon. They would make a killing, because like Unearthed, like their streaming service launch, I wish it was a monthly subscription. Like I would be down to pay $20-$30 a month, even a higher rate than a normal Netflix for an indie subscription service. But
right. Well, even if they did the rate of a Netflix movie, if they're going to charge $8 a movie to watch it, so some people are just going to be like, well, fuck it, I'm only going to watch one movie a month anyway. But if they got the $8 a month, sometimes they would get that money, and people wouldn't watch movies, or they'd be rewatching these movies.
And instead of just ordering a movie every so once in a while, they'd be auto paying it every month, and you're guaranteed their money.
And
that's why WWE switched to their format of buying a network instead of pay-per-views, because everyone's pirating the pay-per-view. But guess what? I got $9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for a reliable stream.
Yeah.
They're making a killing on that. When Shudder first came out, they had Necromantic 2. They had some super edgy movies, but then when they went to Amazon, they kind of took all that off, because I think the most edgy thing on there is Faces of Death.
Yeah, I think that's pretty shitty. I mean, I wish there was an alternative. Screenbox is bullshit. Screenbox sucks.
Yeah, I was
That's
thinking
the one
about
I had. I never had Shudder,
yeah.
But maybe Screenbox has changed in the years since I had it. But I had Screenbox for a while, and it was horseshit. It really was.
It's on Amazon now too. You can get
it wasn't good. And I just wait for that streaming service that's a streaming service of horror movies that has that edge still,
right?
And isn't that corporate shit.
Yeah.
And even if they charged a little bit more than the corporate shit, I'm sure the supporters of independent horror would be down to pay a little more.
Yeah.
To get these more rare movies.
Yeah, I'd pay $10 a month for access to to weird shit you couldn't find anywhere else.
Even 20. I mean, like if Netflix is 10 or Netflix is 15,
Yeah.
Shudder's only 5 though.
Yeah.
So like maybe 10. Yeah, I don't know. There's a market for it though. So
yeah, for
just
sure.
An idea. So. All right. So our next movie, right?
Yeah.
So our next movie is one that I'm sure a lot of you have seen a shitload of times. So we'll elaborate as much as we feel like, but there's I hope everyone knows about this movie. 1979, written and directed by Don Coscarelli, starring A. Michael Baldwin, Bill Thornbury, Reggie Bannister, and the late great Angus Scrimm. Phantasm.
Phantasm. Is it a nightmare? Phantasm. Is it an illusion? Phantasm. Is it an evil? Phantasm. Is it a fantasy? Phantasm? Is it alive? Whatever it is, if this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead. Phantasm.
After the death of Tommy, who was just stabbed by a woman at the cemetery after sex, Jody and his friend Reggie attend the funeral at the Morningside Funeral Home. Jody is followed by his teenage brother Mike, who just lost his parents and is afraid of losing his big brother that intends to travel. Mike snoops around the cemetery and sees the mortician known as the Tall Man, carrying Tommy's coffin alone without any help. Mike breaks into the mortuary to investigate the mystery and discovers weird dwarf creatures with yellow blood and dangerous flying spears that protect the location.
Death Jawas.
Yes, Death Jawas. He's chased by the Tall Man. He cuts his finger and brings it home to show Jody to convince his big brother that there's a dark secret in the mortuary. So this is an iconic movie from our childhood.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And we're not going to go to some of the iconic movies like this with nostalgia killers in the future, but we wanted to talk about Phantasm.
I watched Phantasm last week, and just because it popped up it popped up remastered on Shudder.
Yeah, and that actually what made it better.
Yeah,
too.
it did.
Some of it's not good, the remastering and this extended cut and all that kind of stuff, but the sound design is so much more improved.
Yeah, for sure.
In like 7.1 audio.
Yeah.
The sound design.
I bet it was.
Really
I just watched it on regular TV.
Yeah.
But after I watched it, I was like, we should do nostalgia killers on this.
Yeah.
So because I actually had some stuff to say about it after rewatching it. So
yeah. So without further ado, let's get to acting and characters. So, although some of the minor characters are flat, Michael, Jody, Reggie, and the Tall Man are all great. The Tall Man and his balls and henchmen. Balls and henchmen.
It's like the monkey and Pee-wee.
We're able to become an iconic, great character. So, R.I.P. Angus Scrimm. However, my favorite character in the series is not the Tall Man. By far, it's Reggie Bannister.
Oh yeah,
Reggie,
for sure.
the ice cream man with the quad barrel shotgun. Didn't get the quad barrel yet in this one.
No, not till the series goes insane.
So I give this one 4.5 out of 5 for acting and characters.
Yeah, your assessment on that is about the same as mine. Like even some of the performances, except for Angus Scrimm, were kind of amateurish, and Reggie's basically playing himself. Like,
But Reggie's awesome.
Yeah, and he's awesome.
Michael's good.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of stunt work in this movie.
Yeah.
All these guys are like action heroes. That's one thing about Phantasm that's silly. It's kind of like They Live. Like Roddy Piper is instantly, instead of just a homeless drifter, he's an action star.
Yeah.
He can just do all this shit. Same with Ash.
Yeah.
You know, he's a housewares guy, but he's an action star.
The adrenaline kicks in, and
you
all
got
of a
this
sudden,
kid diving out of cars.
Yeah.
You got him going through, just doing all kinds of crazy and
it looked like he was probably doing all of his own stunts. And I actually had the opportunity to meet Reggie Bannister several years ago, and he is still, like, you know, in his 60s, still the fucking same guy.
Yeah.
That he was in that movie.
He's very likable.
Yeah, he is.
He's a very likable guy, like Bruce Campbell. That's why everyone. He's just very likable.
Yeah, he conveys. He doesn't need to be anyone but Reggie.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so while the acting is not fucking, you know, Oscar worthy, it's good for what this movie is, and it's better than acting should be in a 1979 independent no budget horror movie.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna give it a 4 also.
I give it a 4.5.
Okay.
So, story and writing. A supernatural giant mortician leading an army of reanimated dwarf creatures and flying steel balls, all to torment a boy named Michael. They don't make them like this one. We have great character development, and the Tall Man's origins are left mysterious enough to make sense somewhat, because you see this portal, it's like, there's enough revealed to it's like, okay, there's a reason why this guy is so weird and he's so strong and all this stuff. But they never really get into it in the first movie.
Right.
They elaborated on it over time, and Ravager ties the whole series up in a nice, neat little bow.
Yeah, it does.
I think that I would just watch, if you've never seen a Phantasm movie, listeners, watch 1, then 3, then Ravager. Just do that.
And
1,
that's
3,
actually all
Ravager.
that's on Shudder.
Really?
Yeah, 2's not on there.
4's not on there.
And 4's not on there.
4 should just be deleted.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I like 2, but 2 is definitely the fucking, like, the schizophrenic uncle of the series.
So with all that going on in the plot, like we were saying about convoluted, you'd think this might be a trauma movie or something, but no, it works. It completely, and this movie creates a good mood.
Mm-hmm.
it's more about the experience than some of it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's random at times, but it works. You know, there's random being weird for the sake of being weird,
right?
And then there's this, which is something more than that to me. So
the thing watching this movie is like, it's almost written from like a very innocent place. Like it feels like it's written by like a teenager, you know, and the whole movie is full of this like this dream logic.
Yeah, and it's back and forth from 2 dimensions.
Yeah, and all this weird shit. And what it strikes me as, like, in any other circumstance, it would be written off as, like, amateurish, stupid writing. But because this movie is mainly told from Mike's perspective, and it's Mike processing all of this weirdness, and this is basically, like, you know, fucking Mike's nightmare. You know, like, and especially when you tie it back around to Ravager, and it really, like puts the package together. Yeah. But even standing on its own, like, this movie works in a way that other movies would not work. And there's something to be said for that.
And you know what? I watched this with my kids.
Yeah.
Showed it to my kids. And I think even on a previous episode of the show, I said that, you know, number 1's kind of boring. And it'd been so long since I've seen it. And I think I was just thinking of my impression of everything other than number 3 is a little... takes a while and stuff, but even my kids enjoyed it. Yeah, even the little ones.
And it's a safe movie for kids. Like it's there is some violence, but it's all
there's
like
some nudity and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's all I'm trying to say.
True.
I know what it is.
And, you know, like the one thing that like really like was unnerving watching it as an adult now that I didn't even think about when I first saw it is that very opening sex scene where, like, you know, the dude fucks the girl and then gets stabbed and then the girl turns into Angus Scrimm. Yeah. Did that guy have sex with Angus Scrimm?
He did.
He totally did.
Yeah.
Angus Scrimm has a vagina.
He's all, boy.
So, yeah,
reverse cowgirl from the Tall Man.
That's a rating system if I ever heard one. If this movie was any other movie, I would give it like a 2.5 on the writing. But because it managed to pull off what it is, I'm actually going to bump that up to a 4.
I'm saying 4.5 again. 4.5 for me. I really like this, and I had to explain to them. They were like, they liked it, but they didn't know what it was about. And I tried to explain it to them, and I was like, I can't really explain it because I know what it's about, but I can't really communicate it.
Yeah, it's about a child. It's about a child's fear of death, but it's
his family crumbling. It's a fear. It's more of a fear of loss of family and the unknown to me.
And that's really something.
It's kind of like Lovecraftian in a way.
For sure. Yeah, and it's something that kids can really only fully like grasp or begin to grasp when they've experienced it. Yeah. And since your kids haven't experienced it, like, it's like, oh, fuck.
All right. Did you give that rating?
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
4 as well. So, special effects and production. One of the best scores in horror history, in my opinion. And especially with that remaster, man. You gotta listen to it on some good speakers.
Yeah, when the
construction's done at my house, the instruments and stuff, it's really good. So.
That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah, as well as practical effects that can rival some of the big budget movies of today.
Yeah,
flying orbs in 1979. Are you fucking kidding me? Shotgun hammer.
Yeah. No, totally unnecessary. He could have just fucking kicked the door.
Stupid, doesn't make any sense. But it was just like throw that in there because it's like. That's
he's MacGyver.
Like, he's like an action star. He's like a fucking little MacGyver and shit. And same with Reggie. Eventually, he's the welding quad shotguns and stuff. Yeah. It's like, I love it.
Yeah.
But no CGI, so 5 out of 5. Special effects and production.
I love the production on this movie. I love the score, and the thing that I really noticed about the score listening to it now is it does the same thing that John Carpenter did with the Halloween score, where it's effective in its simplicity.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot going on in that score, but it conveys what it needs to with that, you know, the simplicity of it, which is, you know, that's something that, like, really those late 70s and early 80s movie synthesizer scores, like, when they were good, they were good.
I love
and this is the
jump
best.
Scare one.
Yeah.
The jump scare score on this, it's better than a lot of the, you know, modern jump scare
leaps
movies.
And bounds.
That's what they try to do. But it's just simple, like, one organ sound, when he stands up or whatever, you know, it's like, it's so much better because that scared me as a kid. So like this, maybe the kids today, I don't know.
Yeah, it has this like this low end distortion to it that's just a natural effect of like the Moog synthesizers they were using, and it's great. You know, it's very effectively done. Special effects definitely rival any movie of the time, especially because this movie was made on a micro budget even for its time. even the fly, when the thumb turned into the fly and that whole sequence, like, again, that scene would not work in any other movie, but it fucking works in Phantasm.
It does. There's a lot of glass breaking, and there's a lot of stunt work. The production's very good.
This derpy-looking fly with teeth, and they don't want to show it flying around because they didn't have the ability to do it, so they had, Mike wrap it in a shirt and then just run around the set waving his arms around like he's got this thing in there. Which the physics of that don't even work, but fuck it, it's Phantasm, you know, and that's even the name, like Phantasm. That's like the stuff of dreams, They knew what they were doing when they called it that. So again, this is a movie that works where other ones don't, and really like it can only work as Phantasm.
And one thing I really appreciate about this movie is the tall man. Okay, so the tall man's voice and stuff. Sometimes he can talk sort of normal. He's always got a deep voice. They might put a little bit of reverb on it always. But then there's times where his voice is more projected and more like, they have an effect on it more so for certain scenes. Right. When it's appropriate.
Yeah. When he's more supernatural than just, a creepy tall dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that a 4.5.
All right. 4.5.
Again, if any other movie did this, it absolutely would not work. But Phantasm makes it work because it's Phantasm.
Yeah, and it's the tall man.
Yeah.
Angus Scrimm. So, entertainment. Although it could be a little confusing and slow by today's standards, I love this movie. I hadn't seen the original in years. I forgot how much I loved it. Number 3 is still my favorite, but this is a close second. Don Coscarelli not only wrote and directed the film, but he also was his own DP, director of photography, cinematography, producer, editor. He even swept the floors and got the people coffee.
Wow.
He did everything on this movie. This is his creation.
Right.
And he was the sole vision behind the series and deserves all the credit except for Angus, Reggie, and Michael.
Right.
As well. So.
Yeah, this was his passion project.
Yeah.
And a passion project that he continued over decades into Ravager.
And didn't do much else.
Yeah.
Didn't do much else.
He produced a lot of things.
He did.
But in terms of
he made some other movies,
yeah.
but nothing that compares to Phantasm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely not.
So, I give it a 4 out of 5 for entertainment.
I gave it a straight up 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah. I was not bored during this movie, and I was tired when I watched it, and, I stayed up, I think I actually liked this movie more watching it than I did the first time I saw it, because I was able to look at it through an adult lens and be like, this isn't just stupid. Like, they're doing something here.
Yeah.
And I kind of got that. I had those, you sneaky fucker moments. I loved it.
I never really thought about it being Lovecraftian until today.
Yeah. So, 5.
5, okay. IMDb gives it a 6.8, which is pretty respectable for a horror movie from the 1970s.
It's better than that, though.
But that's for movie snobs and shit like that.
Yeah.
I give it a 4.5 out of 5 or a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Only Dead Farmers.
I gave it a 4.37 out of 10 on average, and that takes it to 8.75 out of 10. I'll bump that straight up to a 9.2, and we're keeping this one.
All right, we are keeping Phantasm, as everyone knows we would, but it's nice to talk about it. We don't really talk about the old shit too much that we've all loved for decades, other than top 5. So nice to elaborate on the plot. So
get into the monkey and peewees of it.
What was the other thing?
Something in Minions. The tall man in the Minions.
The tall balls and whatever.
Balls and Minion. That's what it was.
Balls and Minions. Sounds like a casino.
Yeah.
Minions,
or like the porn parody of Despicable Me.
All right, that's it for Nostalgia Killer. So we kept one, threw the other fucker back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Tom, I think, wanted to keep part of it, but that's it. We're gonna get back with our top 5 Asian horror movies.
Asian horror movies.
Don't even do the racist voice.
Wait, you said Asian horror movies? I thought you said top 5 Asian horrors.
Erection 5. Erection 7. We'll be back after this. We are now taking pre-orders for the brand new Post-Mortem Show t-shirts.
Yeah.
So we have our brand new artwork by Japanese artist Sai Ozawa.
It's fucking awesome.
a multi-headed octopus creature with a suit. Slender Biff, HP Biffcraft, with our heads as well as the heads of some people we talk about sometimes on the podcast. And it
Morty
says, if it smells like fish, throw the fucker back.
It's classy.
It's very classy.
It's classy as fuck.
It's going to be high-quality American t-shirts with a white and green logo on it, black shirts. For all you fatties out there that want slimming. You don't want that white shirt. You're like me. I only wear black.
Yep, me too. Me too. Yep, and the shirt is going to cost $25, shipping including in the continental United States. But our $50 Patreon patrons get it for free. Our $20 patrons get 25% off. $10 patrons get 15% off. $5 patrons get 10% off. $1 patrons get 5% off. But if you are not a patron and you order this shirt right now, pre-order it by messaging us at postmortemshow@gmail.com or through our Facebook, you will get it for only $20.
That's
you can pay us through
$20,
PayPal.
including shipping anywhere in the continental U.S. You can pay us through PayPal directly, $20, including shipping. Or after the pre-order is over, you're going to pay $25. So $5 for the shipping. You're getting the shipping for free for being so loyal that you'll give us money when we don't have anything to give you yet. But we will.
These shirts are awesome, guys. I will be happy to see pictures of you wearing them. And no pants. Straight up Winnie the Pooh.
So go to www.postmortemshow.com or message us on Facebook. Send an email at postmortemshow@gmail.com or just directly send us the money with your shipping address and your size. And if your size is above 2X, you got to add $2.
$2 for the extra X.
Yeah. Or lose some weight. Either way. Lose some weight.
Yeah.
Get down.
I'm a 3XL. Even if I lost a bunch of weight, I still got big shoulders.
All right. Thank you guys so much. And check out this design. It's pretty awesome.
Thanks, guys.
And we're back with our top 5 Asian horror movies, as suggested by listener Heath. So thank you, Heath, for reaching out. Send us a message on Facebook. That's how we connected, and I appreciate it, Heath.
I love Asian horror movies. I love J-horror. I love K-horror. I love Chinese horror. I didn't even have to do fucking research.
Yeah, it's very easy.
For this one.
Very
like,
easy
I just sat there in 5 minutes and was like, what are my favorite Asian horror movies? And actually in this one, for number 2 and number 1, I actually have a tie.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I just couldn't pick between them.
Well, since I love Asian horror movies as well, but you've seen much more of them than I have. I guarantee it. You've seen a lot. Maybe I've seen more like weird, obscure 80s American movies, but when it comes to international, I think you got the ball that time.
Worldly man.
You got the silver Angus Scrimm ball.
The balls.
So you can run with it. So I'll start us off so you can finish. My number 5, Even in Death, You Shit on Me. Visitor Q from our good buddy Takashi Michael.
It's on my list
Michelle,
also.
If you're French.
It's on my list also, but it's in one of my tie sections. So let's talk about it now.
Takashi Miike,
one of the greatest directors of all time. They call him the Japanese David Lynch, but I think David Lynch is actually the American Takashi Miike.
Oh, strong word. I prefer Takashi Miike over David Lynch. Yeah, big time.
And Takashi Miike is actually like one of the most like prolific directors in Japan too. That dude makes like 4 or 5 movies a year. What the hell was that?
It was the chair. Sorry.
And and Visitor Q is one of his 2 masterpieces, I think, and it's just such a fucking gross, weird, taboo movie, but it has a heart.
It does. And there's many of his movies that could make the list for me. I wanted to have a different director of each movie. I didn't want to go because I could even do a top 5 Takashi Miike movies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, he's got a lot going. So I wanted to put Visitor Q on the list for sure. And I put that over even some of his movies I might prefer, but it doesn't get talked about enough. We do bring it up on the show, but if you haven't seen Visitor Q, check it out. It's absurd.
Yeah, absolutely
absurd.
Nuts.
Absolutely batshit nuts.
All right. My number 5 is a really fucking obscure movie that I still have somewhere in storage on a copy of a copy of a copy VHS tape. And it's actually, it's a Chinese-Balinesian co-production, and it's called Mystics in Bali.
I've seen that.
That's a fucking weird movie.
You told me about it, right? Didn't you make me watch it?
No, I made you watch Mr. Vampire.
No, but I've missed it. Is it on Amazon?
It would be awesome if it was. I think
it is. I think you told me to watch it, and I watched it, but I never reviewed it because it wasn't before Watch This Fucker.
Okay.
But I remember the name.
Yeah, it's just a weird-ass movie set in, like, Polynesian spirituality, and, like, the monster is a Panagalin, which is this weird Polynesian, Indonesian vampire myth about she's a woman by day, and then at night her head detaches from her body and floats around trailing the organs behind it and, like, sucks people's blood. And it's just a fucking it's batshit.
That sounds like a great video game to where, like, you know, like in Mario where there's the ghost.
Yeah.
Like, if you turn your back, it's scary.
Yeah.
If you turn your back, her head detaches and floats around trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And then you turn your back, it's just back.
And the way you catch a Panagalin is it has to feed first, because then its guts are weighed down with blood, and then you can hunt it down and kill it. But when its guts are empty, it moves too fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, great, weird ass movie. If it is on Amazon, I'm gonna look that up when I go home and watch it again, because I've never actually seen a clean copy of it.
Yeah, it's either on Amazon or you let me borrow it or something, but I remember watching it. So, my number 4, directed by Ji-won Kim, I Saw the Devil.
Yeah.
I love I Saw the Devil. It's a great revenge movie.
Yeah.
It's got the guy from Oldboy, but as the bad guy this time.
Yeah.
So good. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Very, very solid movie.
Definitely. It's on my top 100 movies of all time.
Yeah. And the director, like, he did his exploitation movie, like, homework.
Yeah.
You know, because it's formatted like a traditional, like, Korean action revenge stories is like a genre in and of itself, you know, with Oldboy and the Revenge trilogy, you know, that Park Chan-wook's entire, you know, body of work is revenge action horror movies. But something about I Saw the Devil, like, really pulls in more of a Western, like, 1970s exploitation movie influence.
And it's more like punching and, like, brutal like that than it is like brutality in the mindfuck. Like, it's got a lot of physical violence, but it is also like a mindfuck movie. Yeah. And it's a great revenge story.
Yeah, really good.
It's on Shudder right now.
Yeah.
And I believe it's still on Netflix. I think so. I know it's on Shudder though. Nice. If you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, I saw it there last night. By the way, last night I watched Murder Party.
For the first time? Yeah. I wanted that to be a watch this fucker.
Yeah, nobody does violence like Jeremy Saulnier.
And that's a way more tomey take. It's way different than the rest of
But it's still, the violence is brutal when it happens.
But the tone is so much different though.
Yeah.
But I think he's really hit his stride with his tone he has now.
Yeah.
I love Murder Party, but it's not on the level of Green Room.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the actual list at hand. My number 4 is a Japanese movie from actually the late 1960s. It's called Kwaidan. It is a Japanese anthology movie doing retelling of the most famous Japanese ghost stories. Kwaidan actually means ghost story in Japanese. And all of the stories are set during Imperial Japan, but, like, it contains stories...
Lightsabers?
What's up? Lightsabers, yeah. It contains stories that have influenced modern horror, like in Tales from the Dark Side. You know that story about the artist who sees the gargoyle demon thing? And that story is taken from Kwaidan.
Okay.
And
I love anthology horror. I gotta check that one out.
And
how do you spell it?
Kwidan.
Oh, it's not a Q.
Yeah.
I was thinking like Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh, Qui-Gon, yeah. It's Kwaidan.
Or Calgon.
Calgon, take me away.
Take me away.
It's like if fucking Seven Samurai was actually like a supernatural horror movie.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll check that one out for sure.
Big fan.
My number 3, directed by Hideshi Hino, Guinea Pig, Flower of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
So I saw this movie when I was probably like in 7th grade or something, and it had this effect on me to where I started finding more obscure international horror.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have found, like, who knows what I wouldn't have found if it wasn't for Guinea Pig.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what got me searching for, okay, what else is there? And then I found Salo, and I found movies like that,
right.
You know, like, ugh.
Yeah.
What else is there?
I
found Alexandra Jodorowsky and things like that after that.
I didn't see Flower of Flesh and Blood until the mid-2000s. The one that got me was Devil's Experiment.
Devil's Experiment.
It's the very first. It was the one that they made before Flower of Flesh and Blood.
The first one I've ever seen was Android of Notre Dame. That was the first one I saw.
That one's good too.
It's good, but it's not as good as Flower.
Yeah. That was when they started trying to give them like cohesive stories with Mermaid in a Manhole and all that. They're all good, but they're not. They don't have the brutality of Devil's Experiment and Flower of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
All right. We're number 3 now?
Number 3.
My number 3 really just stands up there as one of my favorite movies ever made, but it's only not higher on this list because there are movies that I like more than it still. And that is Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Yes, you talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
I have seen it. I don't remember much about it.
It's
other than what you've talked about.
I've probably seen the movie 20 times, and every time I see it, I see something new. Because the movie is so insane and chaotic, and just like, the concept of it is so weird that your brain like recoils in horror from it and doesn't want to retain what's in there. So every time I see it, it's like watching a new movie. And very few movies really Necromantic had that effect on me early on. I've seen it so many times now.
Those are the same. Like that's the same time frame when I first found that shit. I binged, overloaded on to where I saw hundreds of these in a course of years and then that was like when I was like middle school and high school. So by this time it's been cherry shotted right the fuck out of my brain.
Yeah, for real.
I should rewatch it. It'd be just opening up a new tree.
Yeah, it's like Christmas all over again.
It's like being kids with divorced parents. Very gory divorce parents.
Right, very, very gory divorce. I remember in junior high, just as I started to get into the BBS tape trading, I would go to the store and I would look in Film Threat magazine and look in their horror movie section because they always had a listing of like underground horror movies that were actually good. And I had a little notepad now to write down these titles, and I would look for on the tape trade BBSs. And that's how I got a hold of Tetsuo the Iron Man and Necromantic and Salo and like all the movies that I shouldn't have been seeing when I was 13, 14 years old.
Guinea Pig, Faces of Death.
Yeah, exactly. And Tetsuo the Iron Man, I've been watching that movie since I was in junior high or early high school, and I still don't have it all in my brain because there's so much there.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
All right, number 2 for me. My number 2, directed by Chadwick Park, Old Boy.
Yeah, it's on my honorable mentions.
It's an amazing movie.
Absolutely.
It's a great story, and it hits you. It punches you right in the gut.
Punches you right in the balls, right in the fucking spheres.
It does, and the heart too. The gut, the heart, and the balls all at once. And that grand reveal. I'm not going to say what it is, but I know people hate it. I actually like the remake too.
Really?
With Josh Brolin and Samuel Jackson. I still haven't
seen it.
I really like it. It's not fucking nothing close to the original, but it was all right. It was okay. It didn't piss me off like the Martyrs remake and Inside remake and things like that pissed me off. Yeah, it didn't piss me off.
It didn't shit in your Cheerios.
Yeah, but it did not have. The fight scene was still good. They still went for that long, iconic fight scene.
Oh, the hallway fight scene?
Yeah, they had that, but it was not as good as the original.
Yeah. From what you're saying, it sounds like the Korean Old Boy is Honey Nut Cheerios, and the American Old Boy is just Cheerios. Like, you'll eat the Cheerios. They're still good, but they're not quite Honey Nut. My number 2 is my first tie, and these movies are really inextricably linked in my brain because I saw them at the same time too, and that is the Chinese horror 1-2 punch of Mr. Vampire and Spooky Encounters.
Spooky Encounters, you've been trying to get me to watch. That might be my next watch this fucking movie.
I think it's going to be. Mr. Vampire is more like your straight up, Jiangxi horror comedy,
hopping
vampire movies. Spooky Encounters it's almost like an anthology movie, but with the same characters. Like Trick or Treat. You know how Trick or Treat was all tied together?
Yeah.
It's like that. There's several mini stories that this one character just keeps bumbling his way into, and it's got great physical comedy. It's a good look at ancient Chinese spiritualism. There's ghost stories, vampire stories, zombie stories, the origin of the Bloody Mary myth in the Chinese version. All this shit, and it's funny. The whole way through, it's funny.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, Mr. Vampire I showed you, and that movie.
Mr. Vampire I liked. It was fucking weird.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous, but it's like watching an old kung fu movie, but much better.
Yeah,
it's the same reason old kung fu horror movie, kung fu movie, but with the horror we all know and love.
And these movies were actually made by the same people who were making those old horror or kung fu movies.
I have a VHS tape of Eagle versus Fox or something like that. This old, shitty kung fu movie that I got at the 99-cent store back in like the early 90s.
Nice.
And it's pretty cool.
Nice.
It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet little kung fu movie that no one could ever find, probably doesn't even exist.
Right. Lost in some fucking vault in China.
My number one, here on our Land of the Rising Biff.
Land of the Rising Rocket.
Red Rocket. Land of the Rising Biff. My number one, directed by Kenji Fukusaku. Battle Royale.
Great movie.
Fuck the Hunger Games. Battle Royale is great. It's a great concept. It's so inventive. It's so well executed.
Yeah.
And as mainstream as it is now, with the sequels and everything like that, it still holds up. It's still super brutal. The acting is good. Everyone is good in that movie. It's almost, dare I say, a perfect movie.
Absolutely. So I always joke that I like The Condemned better than Battle Royale. This Condemned is the Steve Austin movie where they're the prisoners, and it's basically the exact same movie. But that's a joke. I love The Condemned. You know, Vinnie Jones makes that movie awesome. The
Condemned is actually entertaining.
Yeah, but
The Condemned is good in the way that The Rock is good. Not The Wrestler, but the movie The Rock.
Right, which I've never seen.
You never seen The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery?
Yeah.
That's a good turn your brain off action 90s.
Michelle keeps telling me I gotta see it too.
You gotta see it. You gotta see it, bro.
But yeah, Battle Royale is absolutely.
There's like RoboCop kind of meltdown, like acid.
Nice.
Things. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm sold. Yeah, but
and it's got Bokeem Woodbine.
Really?
How could you go wrong?
Bokeem. I wonder what he's doing right now.
Throw it up for the Bokes. that's our. You know what he's doing right now? Dom, I have to tell you, the show's gonna have to take a hiatus. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to tell you this live on the air, live on recording. But the Bohemian Strokes, rhythm R&B, 90s R&B, like kind of like Dick in the Box, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be torn, Dom. I'm gonna have to take a hiatus.
Damn you, Woodbine!
Biff is gonna fill in for me.
Okay.
As your co-host, and
so it's gonna be me ranting and Biff licking his balls.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Which is probably the equivalent of what I do for the show.
I'll give you more credit for that.
But if you want to watch Woodbine die, watch The Rock.
Cool. All right.
Get your revenge for me and him leaving on our.
I'll just be watching that scene on repeat over and over and over again in like stained underwear, crying. How did we go from Battle Royale to that?
To Dom watching Bokeem Woodbine in his stained underwear.
Yep.
Throw it up for the Bokes and the Strokes.
The Bokes.
Bokes and Strokes and Bokes and Strokes and Bokes and Strokes and ooh girl.
there's a good rhythm to that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Maybe you're onto something.
Yeah.
Yes. Battle Royale, definitely perfect movie.
Ooh baby, I love your way. Every day.
Want to be with you night and day. Yeah. My number one is also a tie, but we already discussed one of them. One of them was Visitor Q. The other one, Takashi Miike's absolute masterpiece that almost no one has seen, and that is Izo.
Izo is a movie that you've told me about for years.
I've brought it up many times.
And it needs to be. Maybe I'm gonna have to do an Izo, and what was the other one? Strange Encounters.
Spooky Encounters. You're just gonna have
have to do a double.
Maybe get some Chinese food while you're doing it.
I will. I'm gonna order some New Ocean. If you're ever in Santa Maria, California, which is where I live right now, where the B Word is located, you gotta hit up New Ocean Chinese food.
Yeah.
A lot of
give them the plug, yeah?
Giving them the plug.
Wow.
The best. Simply the best.
Wow.
The best. Pregnant girl cooking it all.
Nice.
Sweating.
Is she making dumplings?
We'll get to that in our honorable mentions.
All right. So, Izo, I've mentioned it on the show before, but since we have a new listener listening, I will recap it again. Izo is the story of a... since
we have a new listener.
One new listener.
We're going to start... Since one person sent us a list, we're going to start the show over. It's been 125 episodes.
I've been talking about Izo the whole time.
Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Postmortem podcast or broadcast. Or
what are we doing again? I don't even think we said if it smells like fish, throw the fucker back at the end of that one. Yeah, Izo is the story of a lower class samurai who was executed for the crimes of his lord, and wakes up in the afterlife pissed off, and the rest of the movie is him slaughtering his way through the afterlife and through time and through mankind's entire history of violence, slowly becoming a demon with the sole intent of getting to the Yama Kings, who is like the Japanese pantheon of gods, and murdering them all.
Japanese businessmen, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of like overt demons, it's like Japanese businessmen, right?
But he's becoming a demon, like an actual demon the whole time.
Kind of like Faust.
Yeah, and he has to fuck his own psyche into submission at one point, literally. Bob Sapp, the MMA fighter / professional wrestler, plays this great role as like a Buddhist monk who hunts down wayward souls and like tries to put them to rest by killing them. The movie is narrated by basically the Japanese equivalent of Tom Waits. Just everything about this movie is fucking amazing. It's Takashi Miike's finest work as far as I'm concerned, and does not get the credit it deserves.
It's very long. You said that, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. But there's a lot to it, but it's good.
I'm watching it, Tom. I'm doing a double feature before the next Watch This Fucker, where I will do those 2 movies.
I'll provide them to you. I have them on DVD.
And I have told you about many movies, and I remember none of them.
I've been writing things down for Watch This Fucker too, so I actually have a list of things because I can't remember any of them in the moment either. Except I want you to watch Come and See.
I've been writing things down too, but there's a problem. I've never learned how to read and write.
Oh,
so it's just a bunch of scribbles and pictures of dicks.
Okay,
but you can decide for that.
JD Hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphics. So, my honorable mentions: Train to Busan, recent. Good take on zombies.
Good movie.
Really good.
Apparently, there's an animated feature that's like a prequel to it that's coming out.
Sounds cool. I really enjoyed it. It was very emotional. It definitely captivated me as far as the father and son and the dynamic and things like that. But couldn't make the top 5. So another one, Audition. Yeah. Audition is another almost perfect movie.
Yeah, very good. Very good revenge story.
Would have made the top 5, but I wanted to go with a theme here, different directors, and I needed to talk about all the movies on my list, so I couldn't talk about Audition. But 3 Extremes, as you were saying, Dumplings.
Yeah.
Dumplings, Dom.
Dumplings was the highlight of 3 Extremes, too.
I love anthology horror, and I love 3 Extremes. Itchy the Killer.
Another great Takashi. That's the first Takashi Miike movie I ever saw.
Have you ever seen Versus?
Yes, Versus is insane.
Versus is so great,
and the sequels are even crazier.
You know what? It would have made my list, but I remembered it while we were doing the show and added it at the last minute.
Yeah, Versus the entire series is awesome.
It's really good. There's a sequel?
There's like 4 of them, and it's the same actors, but they're playing different characters in every movie.
And my last honorable mention, the story of Rikio.
I love the story of Rikio.
Could have been on the list as well.
Yeah. One of the greatest head crushing scenes in cinematic history.
Just that prison scene.
Yeah, I love Rikio. I've gone through several VHS copies of it because I've loaned them to people and never got them back.
And they're great.
I think I finally have a digital copy of it somewhere now. But if you've never seen the story of Rikio, it's the closest thing to like a live action version of those really, really scummy like early to mid 90s anime that were super violent. And it's like a live-action version of that, where all the characters are over the top, and it's just kind of grungy, and everyone's fucking murdering everyone, and the hero is like more violent than the villains at some point. Great movie.
And then your honorable mentions.
My honorable mentions. I'm going to start with Wild Zero, which we reviewed recently.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot all about it. You know, when even doing research online, if you look at like best whatever, even top 100, they don't talk about a lot of the movies that you talked about and that we've seen, like Wild Zero. Yeah. It wasn't even mentioned at all. Definitely deserves to be on the fucking
underutilized
list.
Movie.
Yeah. Maybe would have made my top 5 if I would have remembered it.
Provided to us by the wonderful Eileen.
Yeah, wonderful listener Eileen, our patron Eileen. We love you.
My next honorable mention is another Takashi Miike movie, one of his less popular ones, but also very good. It's called Gozu. It's this weird supernatural Yakuza story that even goes places that Ichi the Killer didn't go. And it has one of the craziest surprise endings short of the ending of Visitor Q that Takashi Miike's ever put together.
I'm very intrigued by the Yakuza.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's very intriguing to me, the Japanese gangsters, especially because, like, in the old school wrestling, guys like Bruiser Brody and Abdullah Butcher and stuff would like be scared of the Yakuza.
Yeah, they're scary as fuck.
Yeah.
So. You do not mess with the Yakuza. Actually, if you want to watch a really, really good Yakuza movie, it's not horror, but it's excellent. It's called Swallowtail and Butterfly. You would not guess that by that title that it was a hardcore, crazy-ass Yakuza movie. But it is, and I highly recommend it. My next one is an honorable mention because it's less horror and more action, but it does have some horror elements to it, and it's a Korean movie called Attack the Gas Station.
I didn't even think about violent Asian movies that weren't even
It's
The Raid. Have you seen The Raid?
Yeah, The Raid's great.
Yeah.
Attack the Gas Station is part action, part horror, part comedy, and it's basically just about this dude who works in a gas station that's sort of in the middle of a gang warfare area in Korea. And it's one of those movies that just escalates in the insanity until the very end, and it's a perfect example of escalation.
Like Rumble in the Bronx?
It's better than Rumble in the Bronx.
Nothing is better than Rumble in the Bronx.
It's a different movie.
Jackie Chan broke his leg.
He did.
And then he wore a cast and a fake sneaker over it and still filmed scenes.
Yeah, because he's nuts.
Because he's Jackie Chan.
Yeah. It's a different movie. It's not martial arts based. It's insanity based.
Jackie Chan's the next Me Too candidate.
Yeah,
watch.
It's gonna
come out in appropriate context.
He's too squeaky clean. Another one that isn't explicitly a horror movie. It's more of a kung fu movie, but it's so fucking weird that it deserves to be talked about on this show, and that's Crippled Masters.
Crippled Masters?
It's a Chinese kung fu movie about these two guys who work for this fucked up sadistic lord, and he cuts off one of their legs, both of the legs of one guy and both of the arms of the other guy, and they band together to get revenge by tying each other back to back, and one guy is the legs and one guy is the arms.
That's fucking awesome.
And they use guys with physical deformities, the guy with no arm still has a little yam thing sticking out, and he punches people with it sometimes.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and
I was gonna say it'd be really cool if they actually just had real quadriplegics try to fight each other in a tournament, like Mortal Kombat.
Starring Lex Luger. I can joke about him because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. R.I.P. Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah. But Crippled Masters is one of those ones that you got to dig to find, but it's out there and it's batshit.
I have to see that movie, Crippled Masters.
And there's some really, really, really extreme gore in it for the time period because it's a late 70s, the movies that the RZA was watching when he was formulating the Wu-Tang Clan. And my last honorable mention is actually a series of movies or style of movies that there are several titles that I could mention, but I keep discovering more. And it's this thing that they did in China where they were obsessed with RoboCop when it came out. And because copyright law works differently there,
RoboCop is so awesome.
They could make their own RoboCop movies. So they would make these Chinese RoboCop movies, but they would put him in fucking weird-ass situations. There's one called Devil's Dynamite where it's RoboCop versus Jiang Shi. And it's literally just some random Chinese dude in an actual, totally authentic RoboCop costume doing kung fu and not being really RoboCop.
Not with a gun?
He's got a gun too, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he's got all kinds of shit, he fucking,
He's not like RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's not even a cyborg, he's just a Chinese guy in a suit.
Yeah, I don't even think they really go into deep, because none of the movies are tied together, and it's always different actors in different studios. It's just China went RoboCop crazy when that movie came out, and because they could, they just put RoboCop in everything for a while, and it's fucking nuts.
Well, everything's better with a side of RoboCop.
I'll give it that.
Sprinkle a RoboCop on top of anything.
Like that dude putting the salt on the steak in the meme.
Yeah. Wash it down. Wash it down with a side of RoboCop.
Tall frosty glass of RoboCop.
Just one little squirt of RoboCop on top of your beverage.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube and you look up Chinese RoboCop movies, there are a few on there. And none of them are good, but they're all awesome.
That's one thing I'll never do is YouTube Chinese RoboCop.
Yeah,
I can assure you that I won't do that.
Well, don't Google it. You're probably safe if you do it on YouTube, but don't Google it.
Is that your honorable mention?
That's it for me.
All right, we're going to get to our listener Heath that suggested this list. Thank you, Heath, for your list, and he sent us his top 5 too. So he said, since I have nothing better to do on my day off, so he's suggesting us a list, but he's kind of burning us
Right.
Oh, here's your top 5 for you guys, because you know what? If I had anything other than send you a top 5 to do, literally, that's what I would do.
I'm deigning to suggest something.
But thank you anyway.
Hold on, but before you go on, is that an athletic supporter on the floor here in the B ward?
We don't need to talk about those.
Bright red cup.
Yeah, that's my son's.
Okay.
So, Heath's list. Number 5, I Saw the Devil. Yeah, Heath. Number 4, The Wailing. You ever heard of The Wailing?
I'm not.
He says it's a very underrated and must watch if you haven't seen it.
Okay.
And when I was doing my research, it came up a lot.
Okay. Yeah,
It's like a ghost thing. You'd probably like it.
Oh.
Number 3, Ju-On.
The Grudge.
The Grudge?
The better Grudge.
The better Grudge. But still The Grudge, nonetheless. Number 2, Train to Busan. I love Train to Busan. Number 1, Audition. Heath loves him some Audition.
Good pick.
Good pick. Good number 1. I had to go Visitor Q, or I would have swapped out for Audition.
Yeah. Technically Audition is a better movie than Visitor Q. Like, on all points. But Visitor Q just has this level of madness.
It just needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Greenhouses. I've never wanted a greenhouse until I saw that movie.
Greenhouse necrophilia.
Yeah, it should be a good selling point.
Yeah, any movie that literally starts in its first 3 seconds with an act of consensual incest and premature ejaculation.
I don't think that's a good way to sell it.
Is going to be interesting, to say the least.
He even sent us some honorable mentions. So, Ringu.
Yeah.
A Tale of Two Sisters, which is one thing I didn't remember, but that's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
You seen it?
Yeah.
Cool. The Host. I love The Host.
Yeah,
I think it was on my top 5 monsters or creatures.
Yeah, the Eldritch Abominations.
Eldritch Abominations, yeah. Dark Water.
Dark Water's good. There's an American remake that's not so good, but the original, I think, Japanese
with Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah,
I saw that movie and it sucks.
Yeah,
I never saw the
Japanese version is much better.
Battle Royale, my number 1. Itchy the Killer, The Eye. I saw the American remake, but I thought it was alright.
But the first and second Eye movies are goddamn excellent. I'm surprised I just didn't think of them. After that, they kind of got like a little bit more Americanized, but especially the very first one is a really, really good movie.
Cure. Have you heard of Cure?
How's it spelled? Like Cure? Okay. It's funny that you just made that noise, and I know you're immediately talking about Robert Smith. I've never heard of it.
I haven't either, but maybe that's something we can check out, so thank you. And his last one, which he sent a second email to add at the last second, was One Missed Call. Have you seen that?
Yes, One Missed Call is a very good movie.
It is?
Yeah.
Is there an American remake of that?
Yes, there is.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's
right?
horrible. But the original.
I think I briefly skimmed that one.
Yeah. I don't even think I can finish it. Yeah.
Whenever I have an American remake and I see that before the original,
uh-huh.
and I didn't know about it, it's like, what? I never really researched the original, because like that sucks.
Yeah, but like, what if you did that with Martyrs?
Or Inside.
Yeah. You'd regret it.
You know what? I hate the Martyrs remake, and it's terrible. But the Inside remake hurts me.
Yeah.
Because the director is the director of Sequestrados, which is one of my favorite movies.
He's a great director, remaking a great film, and doing a poor job.
Dropping the ball. So, that's it for our Asian horror movies.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps up this episode.
So since after this episode, after you listen to this episode, make sure you join our Patreon so you can get some bonus content, because you're not gonna be full in about 15 minutes, even though you feel full now.
Yeah.
You might have stuffed yourself on post-mortem, but 30 minutes maybe, you're gonna be hungry.
That was a good segue. That was a good segue into checking out our Patreon. Give $1, give $10, give $50. You get shit from us. Also, check us out on iTunes and Stitcher. Give us the subscribe there. Give us the 5-star rating. It's great if you check us out on YouTube also, but the 5-star rating and the subscriptions on iTunes and Stitcher actually help us to get good things for the show. So, thank you very much. And as H.P. Lovecraft once said, as he went out
he was raw dogging it.
He was
Asian style raw dogging that fish.
I was going to say, as he went out to his garden shed and saw his old former mistress laying there dead, and you're gonna have to watch Visitor Q to get the rest of the story. If it smells like fish, throw the fucker back. Even in death, you shit on me.
They shall send you the winter stick. They shall send you the bombing. They shall send you the disinfection. Oh, really? Do it, Jeff. Oh, come on. Great.
Now is the time for the Postmortem Patreon patron shoutouts. Shoutouts!
Now's the time will we lay it down. What was my R&B band partner?
Bokeem Woodbine?
Bokeem Woodbine, okay, yeah. Now, me and Bokeem, we're gonna sit in, we're gonna make sweet audio love to you, baby. You patrons. You little patron, babies. Take it from here, Bokeem.
Mark A. Bartlett.
This is still JD. Bokeem Woodbine isn't here. He's not affiliated with the Postmortem Show in any manner.
I just said Mark's last name, but we've said it many times before.
Oh, Mark, you're my favorite pair.
You and him together, quite a pair.
We are quite a pair. Me and you, whistling through the field of sunflowers. Mark, hand in hand.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
No, it's a majestic field of sunflowers on a spring day. Me and Mark, we got our picnic basket.
Are you both wearing sundresses?
We both have like several 30 packs in hand.
Right.
We're kind of juggling them with the picnic basket. We're kind of stumbling. We fall into a field of daisies. The pollen, it spreads. You know, the little fluffy, not daisies. What are they called?
Dandelions.
Like dandelions. They flow into the breeze. We trip. Mark falls into a giant pit that goes deep within the earth, where horrors unknown to us.
And he has nothing to protect himself but a picnic basket.
He has nothing but a picnic basket
And a sundress.
and this thinks. A picnic basket, a sundress, and this thinks. And on the way down, like, I grab his hand as he's about to fall in. I clutch it. I start to help him to safety. And at the last minute, I get a whiff of a certain stench, and I say, Mark, I'm sorry, my friend, my valued patron. You smell like fish. It's time to fuck. I mean,
it's time to fuck.
It's time to throw the fucker back. Mark, my true feelings are coming out. And then I give him a 300 style like chest kick. This is Sparta.
This is post-mortem.
This is post-mortem. He flies into the pit, and several winged Biff, a Biff with wings, catches him, flies him off to safety to keep him a patron to the next month.
Oh, well,
free from my wrath today.
It's good that Biff's got his back.
No fucking. Damn it! I was on a roll. It was going so good before I said that. Thank you, Mark.
Eileen K.
No pit for you.
No
pit stop. I'm not gonna give you the Nasty Boys finisher where they rub your face into their armpit. That's called a pit stop.
It is.
I'm not gonna do that to you, Eileen. You know why? Because I value your patronage and so much more than yours, Mark. I mean, Mark, I love you. Sorry. The reason Biff saved you when I kicked you into the pit is because I told him to.
You had to test him. You're like God.
When I said fuck, I meant mind fuck, Mark. I'm trying to prove my love to you. This is how an abusive relationship works. I'm going to do things like throw you into the pit of despair and tentacles and send my winged dog to save you.
You know, Ike Turner would have been a lot cooler if that's just what he did to Tina.
Ike. Good old Ike. But this isn't about Ike. This is about Eileen. Thank you, Eileen, for your patronage. I really appreciate it. So does Dom. So does Biff. And even Biff's wings. Your patronage was exclusively responsible for the wings that we put on Biff. He's a winged dog. He saved Mark. Mark, you better thank Eileen for your fucking life.
You know what we should do to really show Eileen our appreciation is get her like a suit of Viking armor and let her ride Biff as like the Biff Valkyrie.
It'd be the best LinkedIn profile picture.
It would.
I'd buy car insurance from that person.
Absolutely. Brent W.
Brent, I appreciate your patronage so much that I'm going to let you be the first one on the Biff ride. I'm going to saddle that winged dog, that winged, retarded, blind dog. You're going to climb onto his lower back. I don't know how to strap a saddle. Don't trust me.
You're not an equestrian.
Don't trust me with these things. I'm not an equestrian, whatever that means. And you're going to go up into the sun. You're going to go on Biff's back, on his wings. And then you'll realize that even though I need Eileen's generous patronage paid for those wings, she needs to increase to the next tier. Because they're made of tar.
Right.
And just like Icarus and Daedalus, you will fall. You will fall, Brent. You will fall.
Raymond V.
Eileen, I'm not guilt-shaming you over... First of all, I'm not... Raymond, I'll get to you. But first of all, Eileen, I'm not guilt-shaming you into increasing your dollar of patrons. First of all, thank you for your generous... I'm trying to tell a story here.
Right.
It has to be a cohesive
trying to paint
story.
a picture.
First of all, I'm not guilt-shaming you. And Brent's life is not on your hands, Eileen. Or is it?
Dun, dun, dun.
Secrets
are the purview of Mysterious Raymond.
Mysterious Raymond, the force behind it all. Who's pulling the strings?
The Puppet Master. The V in his name is for Puppet Master. Puppet Master.
Puppet Master 5.
Oh!
V. As in Mysterious Raymond.
Mysterious Raymond.
Ever so mysterious.
Aubrey T.
RBT? There's no dog to save you from this pit, honey. You're gonna pay. I wear the pants in this house. Don't you forget it. I wear the pants, and the dog wears the wings.
Who
Who
wears the femskin?
That's also me. Femskin.
I wear the pants in this family. They just happen to be femskin pants.
They just happen to have a built-in vagina. Thank you, honey.
Michelle R. Thank you, honey.
Michelle R. So, if anyone's gonna save Brent W. I mean Brent. Just Brent. Brent. We'll just change his name to Brett to further discuss it. Brett.
Because Brett screwed Brett.
Brett. You screwed yourself.
Or did Eileen screw Brett?
you screwed yourself. Brett screwed Brett. And this is the Biff Trial screw job. Just when you think Michelle's going to come and help you, she's going to spit in your face.
Oh.
And then punch you backstage, blacking your eye.
Wow.
And change the course of wrestling history of the late to mid-90s.
Forever.
And then go on to do nothing else whatsoever and just drop the spot. Just drop the ball.
Well, I mean,
Botch the
you know,
spot.
in Michelle's defense, Goldberg is a sloppy ass wrestler who gave her a bad spear and she had a
Michelle's
stroke.
just gonna wear a lead breastplate like she's fucking Milton Dammers and expect to get over. Not gonna happen, Annie. Better off being a fucking Nitro girl.
Oh, I could have been a Nitro girl. I say that every time we watch Monday Nitro. I could have been a Nitro girl. Tiffany.
You know
Running
what?
just as fast as we can.
How many more do we have to get to? We got a few.
4.
Right? We got 4. Okay, so Tiffany, I'm gonna start being nice now. Okay. You're gonna get to saddle up on that Biff. You told me to give him extra scroochies or something, smoochies or scroochies, some kind of scrunchies, some kind of belly rubs is the metaphor. Whatever you said, I don't remember what it was, but I remember.
Just give Biff scrunchies.
I distinctly remember it, but
Wrap him around his tail.
his entire fucking arms.
Yeah, just like 80s
From
light warmers.
nothing but a variety of rainbow colored scrunchies. And I will do that in your honor. So thank you for being a patron.
Tim M.
Mr. Tim M. You want to ride that doggy saddle? Come on, ride the train. Let's ride it. It's the choo-choo train. Come on, ride the train. Let's ride it. Come on, ride the train. Let's ride it.
You know more of that song than I do.
Quad CD DJs
Yeah.
is the name of the band that produced that song.
Yeah.
Come on, ride the train. You know how I know that? Some episode that we did, I had to download it because I was talking about it before.
Oh,
So this is just rehash
okay.
old shit that's in my
I think they would have been better if they were the quadriplegic DJs. Because then they couldn't have spun any records, and that
they'd
song
also-
would never happen.
What we were talking about, quadriplegic DJ Mortal Kombat, they'd have to spin, they have to be singing and playing instruments as they're fighting, but also they can't have the use of their limbs.
Right. And they're like
Quadriplegic DJ fighting. I love that.
Joseph C.
Joseph C.
Not Kid Rock's midget.
You need to see your way out the door, Quilting Joe, because you know what? I was promised very fine quilts from you. Very fine. The finest in quilts. What have I received? Just patches of different people's pubic hair woven together.
That's some fine quilting. That's
Not
hard to
the
do.
Quilting Joe I know. Quilting Joe's Quilting Joe. Where did he come from? Where did he know? Quilting Joe, he's Quilting Joe. What's my song? I don't remember it, but Quilting Joe's got a song. Do you remember it?
Cotton Eye Joe?
No, it's not Cotton Eye Joe, but it was kind of a rip-off of that, but he's a Quilting Joe, he's a Quilting Joe, quiltingest Joe I ever did see. Quilting Joe, he'll build a quilt for me.
That's a good song.
But it's made of pubes.
Do you think he has a pubaloom?
A giant ancient wheel that's been passed through the Joseph C. family. And
given to them by Rumple Foreskin himself.
He's a Quilting Joe, quiltingest Joe I ever did know. Quilting Joe, Quentin Joe, you're the Quentinest Joe I ever did know. Thank you for your patronage.
Valerie T.
Valerie T.
Also makes a fine quilt.
Also known for quilting ways. But predominantly human skin.
Right.
Predominantly human skin. Great cover-up.
Keeps you warm.
Knows how to get blood out of a carpet, I'll tell you that much. There's one thing Valerie T knows how to do, is cover up a murder.
Yeah. Good person to hide a body.
Good person to hide a body.
All right, cool. It's good to know, because I've got some that need to be hidden. The Hero Within!
The Hero Within.
I actually had the opportunity to have dinner, Michelle and I, with the owner of The Hero Within yesterday at Sizzling Goji in Santa Maria, California.
Ties in with the theme of the episode.
As Michelle calls it, Snizzlin' Goggy.
Ties in with the theme of the episode.
Yeah.
Snizzlin' Biff. Yeah, thank you. Here Within. Check out the clothing line. I'm wearing some right now. Where is it? I'm not going to tell you.
The Hero Within Mankini.
It's a hero within us all. Deep within the recesses of our anal cavity. Studs, bedazzled.
I believe the children of the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
The bedazzled hero within us all.
Fabulous. It kind of comes out looking like John Morrison when he used to bedazzle his abs.
In slow motion with a fan blowing his hair up.
Oh,
wearing a bedazzled Quilt and Joe quilt.
I'm sold. Book it. Make it so.
Quilt and Joe, first of all, Quilt and Joe, I've only had one brief interaction with you when you joined the Patreon, and you've never said anything about us calling you Quilt and Joe. I don't know how you feel about this. Quilt and Joe, I just want to know, I approve of your quilts. Yes. And if you were to make us a post-mortem quilt, I would really appreciate it.
That would be awesome.
And I would, you know how much I'd appreciate it? I'd write a song for you. And it might go something like this. Quilting Joe, he's Quilting Joe. The quiltingest Joe I ever did know, because he's Quilting Joe, Quilting Joe.
How long before that quilt goes from blankety to stiff?
All right, that's it for patrons, right?
That is it for our patrons.
Didn't we get a new one?
I don't think so. Unless
I think we did.
Unless they're not, well, because Patreon is a month behind on the list. So when we do these lists, like we're mentioning all the pages we had last month. So if we did,
pretty sure we're forgetting someone. If we are,
we'll get at you next month.
Yeah. You'll have the warm. In addition to the love of fine Biff, a very fine Biff,
fine child breeding Biff,
our sultry voices, marinating your ears with our love. You might get one of the finest quotes you've ever known. What if Quilt Joe is Asian? That would make this episode all tie in.
Yeah. I hope he is.
It just when next time I do that the clap and the stomp and the Quilt and Joe song, you just need to bang some pots at the same
time. I'll bring a gong and just hit it at the end.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. And as H.P. Lovecraft once said, as he was not a Patreon patron of Postmortem Show because Patreon didn't exist when he was alive. And he's dead! Smells like fish.
I'm not saying that's the reason why. I'm just saying there's no proof otherwise.
Well, yeah,
so
enough, yeah.
Don't cancel your membership.
Yeah.
It's like a social media networking mishap waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't read the fine print on that subscription, patron.
Yeah, the part where if you cancel it, we stalk you.
And I 300 kick your chest into the fucking hole.
And Biff isn't there to save you this time.
You know why?
Because his wings have already melted.
They've already melted. So throw the fucker back.